Welcome back, everybody, to Untethered Minds.
Do.
Another episode means another song.
Yeah, that was my contribution this time.
Not as much teamwork today. Thank you very much. But okay. Take what I can get.
Untethered Minds. Yeah.
We need a second verse.
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. Today we are covering episode number 8. And we are going to be talking about these two idiots, Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. There's
Trump,
so much a part of both of them. They're idiots a little bit.
It's not so much idiocy, it's more no filter.
Yeah.
It's no regard for, it's no self-awareness is what it is. I wouldn't say necessarily idiocy, but I would say self-awareness. DeSantis, though, has shot himself in the foot quite a bit in recent times in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that here in just a second. But everything's kind of, I think, been spurred on by this. Like, we're having this conversation because of the recent, indictment rumors with Donald Trump and that DA in New York, who's, I think, a piece of shit. I don't know why they keep trying to get Trump under these.
I mean, they've only been saying he's going to prison for 7 years. So.
Right. Every time. I mean, the Mar-a-Lago raid was a joke. The whole Russia collusion hoax, I mean, that never came to fruition at all.
Well, like I told you before, Hillary was the one with the connections to Russia, not Trump.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. It's like, when are you guys going to give it a rest?
Right.
When are you going to stop? He's not.
Trump derangement syndrome, man. TDS.
Right. Still, after all this time, though.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, because they have nothing else to talk about.
Well, and because he's running again.
Look, if you look at MSNBC, CNN, all those liberal major news networks, right? Their ratings crashed after Trump wasn't in the White House anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's not president anymore because, I mean, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. But he's not living in the White House. Mm-hmm. We know that. Mm-hmm. And all their ratings crashed because all they had to go on for 4 years was anti-Trump. So, yeah. And once they finally got him out, then what do they do now?
Right. They're still going after him. Yeah. And when something bad happens in the country, it was because of that administration and not the fact that Biden's been in office for how many years. So.
Right. Well, they kind of try to keep pushing the COVID thing for the first year, and they saw it wasn't sticking. Mm-hmm. People were tired of it. Yeah. And so they kind of moved on from that. And then shortly after that is when this whole Ukraine thing kind of started happening and all that. Yeah. So all the focus has been towards Ukraine and fight Putin and and all that stuff.
Yeah. But it's been an interesting few weeks because I feel like, I don't know if Trump was putting out this, what do you want to call it? A memo about, hey, I'm going to get arrested. Because he's the one who came out with it, saying it was going to happen, that he thought it was going to happen. Why do you think he came out with that?
I mean,
just to get ahead of it, or did he want attention?
No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah.
Well, look, I am as much of a straight shooter as you're gonna get when I talk about people and stuff. Look, Trump had great politics when he was in office. He did great things for the country. He did great things for closing down a lot of those human trafficking rings and everything else, which never got news, right? Never got headlines. But Trump's a little bit of an asshole, but that's the thing. You need an asshole. You need to be an asshole.
Dating him. He's running the country. Doesn't matter if he's a little bit of an asshole.
Right. And he does definitely need to think before he speaks on certain things or tweets or truths or whatever.
But honestly, though, I think that's what makes him human. Maybe that's why a lot of people still have some kind of draw to him, is that Trump isn't a perfect human being.
He's real. It's authenticity.
Right.
That's what it is.
People like that.
Right. Everyone's tired of the stereotypical politician.
And of the elite
cookie
ones
cutter politician.
Yeah, because Nancy Pelosi will be like, everybody, we need to buckle up. I'm just a human like you are. As she stands in front of her $100,000 freezer with $400 worth of ice cream in it. You know, it's just not relatable. Yeah. People don't care about those people.
You need to do a better impression of her, though. Oh, we relate to the people.
Sorry, I haven't gotten that drunk since I was like 22, and it's been a while, so I don't remember how that
She's
works.
Another person that looks like her face melted. Mitch McConnell, her.
She, with all the money she has not invested in injectables. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, maybe she has, just not in her face.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Anyways, moving on from Nancy Pelosi's injectables. So this indictment, rumors, whatever, I think it's kind of a farce, to be honest. Like, the whole thing is just publicity, honestly.
It's the whole Stormy Daniels thing again?
Yeah, it's some, like, minor stipulation. Because I guess if you found a way to federally charge him, or even, what's the other kind? What's the lesser charge? If it's federal or criminal or...
Oh, a misdemeanor.
Yes, misdemeanor or...
Felony.
Felony, yes. Either way, the statute in New York is like 2 years for the misdemeanor and 5 years for a felony, and it's been like 7+ years since these things happened.
Right.
So they're like, how could they even indict him on something if that statute of limitations, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is up and has been for years. So I don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't.
Well, and even when they brought it up in 2016 when he was running, it was already like a 4 or 5 year old thing at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, it was already coming up to that limitation at that point.
Yeah.
You know? So here we are 7 years later.
Right. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, because Trump's the only threat.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're going to try everything they can.
Right.
Just hope that something sticks.
Right.
Keep throwing shit at the wall.
I, just like you, I saw the headlines of what was going on in Florida and everything else and all that stuff, and you know, I kind of jumped on that DeSantis bandwagon for a little bit. Not necessarily over Trump, like I was always saying I wanted them to be on the same ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it kind of looks like Trump is the only viable option.
Well, and that's the issue now. Like, Trump versus DeSantis has become a topic because this indictment news breaks, and DeSantis was quiet for a while. He didn't come to Trump's defense like what McCarthy did.
Right.
A few of those like rhino
Prominent
GOP people. Yeah.
I love you.
He didn't come to his defense right away, DeSantis. And so everybody was kind of like, okay, interesting. He's not saying anything. He's not backing him. And then he did actually say something. And when he did, it was very derogatory in that he was saying, you know, he wouldn't have to worry about this if he had never slept with a hooker in the first place. He's like, you have to think about his actions. You know, would he be in this spot if he hadn't have done that to begin with? Things. And he's not wrong, but it's like... Correct. Okay, I don't know.
But there's a proper way to approach these types of things.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, you can still make your jab and look like you took the higher ground.
And he's not just being, like, direct and actually confronting it. He's kind of doing it in, like, a backhanded way.
Yeah.
And so it's kind
of
like...
He's just making snide comments to the press.
Right. But he hasn't even, like, announced a run for president either. So I'm just very confused about DeSantis' message right now.
I think what he is doing right now is waiting to see what happens with Trump with the whole indictment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my belief. I think he's waiting to see. Because if Trump does get indicted and he does go to prison, which it won't happen. No. And that's another thing, too. The whole indictment is a financial situation. People don't go to prison for financial situations. They pay it off. He's not being
taken away in cuffs and thrown in the back of a cop car. Anyone who thought they were going to see that,
this is a white-collar crime.
Yeah, it's not how this works.
Yeah, it's a white-collar crime. They're just, worst case, they're going to slap him with some sort of weird subpoena saying he can't do this or that or whatever, right? And then he has to pay some fines. It's not going to go, he's not going to go to prison. I've been telling y'all for 7 years he ain't going to prison. No. If they had anything, he would have been locked up a long time ago.
And you know they've tried everything that they possibly could, you know?
Right.
There's probably a ton of things we don't know about.
That's why since he decided he was running for president, he's had a squeaky clean record.
He's been really smart in that aspect.
He hasn't done a single thing that's illegal.
Yep. And as like idiot as what's the word I'm looking for? As non-filtered as he is, and as many little mistakes that he makes by opening his damn mouth, I think that he has probably hired the smartest possible people to represent him.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to be the smartest guy in the room to know who the best possible attorneys are.
Yeah. And
have the money to pay those people. Like, he has such tremendous people in his corner.
Well, you can still have no filter and be calculated.
Right.
You know,
as long as someone's also kind of guiding your way there and keeping you on track. Because I think he probably needs someone to keep him on track. That's just my assumption.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, Trump is, for the lack of a better sense, and I mean in the best way possible.
Yeah.
He's a loose cannon, right? Yeah. He's a loose cannon. It's unpredictable what he's going to do next. Mm-hmm. And that's why when he was president, the rest of the world was respecting it. Yeah. I mean, they were respecting him as president. They might not have liked him as president, but they respected him as president because at any given second, he could flip the nukes and bomb some country or send some drone strikes or whatever. Nobody knew what he was going to do, which is why there was no World War III talk or conflict. In fact, there was peace treaties galore during those 4 years.
They respected him. Mm-hmm. They hated him, but they respected what he was doing. And they knew that if they fucked with him...
And that's why you need an asshole. They were fucked
in return.
Well, that's why you need a dick.
Yeah.
Remember the 3 types of people?
Tell me again. Tell the world.
There's 3 types of people in the world. There's dicks, pussies, and assholes, right? Pussies bitch about everything all the time. So do assholes, right? But pussies get fucked by dicks, right? And so they don't like dicks too much sometimes. So they get fucked by them. Yeah. But they need dicks because dicks also fuck assholes. And if those dicks didn't fuck the assholes would be shitting all over everyone's dicks and pussies.
That's so gross. That ending visual.
So you need dicks to fuck an asshole. Our governments are assholes and Donald Trump's a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. For lack of better explanation. Honestly, though.
You can choose what you want to do.
I know. I'm like, trust me, I know already. We'll listen to this back and see how we feel. But it's, I mean, as gross as that is, it's true. Yeah. You know, we needed somebody outside of politics to come in and be like, you guys are all fucking this up.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah, you are all bad. You are all corrupt. Are you doing something for the people? Are you interested in everybody else's well-being and their happiness? Are you enabling this country to be successful? No, get the fuck out. Like, he was just no bullshit, and people are terrified of him because it threatens their own money and power and control.
Right. Well, it's because they're all corrupt.
Right.
They're all corrupt. Right. They're all bought. They're all paid for.
And nobody within politics was ready to go against that group.
Because that group controls everything. Yeah. Those are the bankers. Those are the lobbyists. Yeah. Those are the Vanguards and the BlackRocks of the world that tell all these politicians what to do.
Right. But Donald Trump doesn't need that. Mm-mm. He doesn't need those people. He doesn't need that support. He has his own success, his own wealth, his own everything. And so for him to step in, I honest to God, and I've said this for a while now, I think that he is possibly the only person who is able to change the country because he's the only one who's pretty untouchable. Right. At this point, we are how many years in? They would have found something if there was something to be found. Right. They would have. Right. As smart as the people around Trump are, if something was actually going on, they would have figured it out. Because they are so far up his ass every day about everything he does. Right. And so the fact that nothing huge has happened just makes me think that, like, who else could do that? Right. Who has the power, the people, the influence?
Well, and that's what I mean. He has a clean record, and he has people around him, like you were saying, in a circle that keep him clean. Yeah. Right. The guy's never done any drugs. He's never had a drink of alcohol. Like,
really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't know he's never drank.
He's never done any of that stuff. Wow. Women was his thing.
Everyone's got to have something, right?
Women was his thing. Yeah. But look.
I know a lot of guys, though, where women are like, that's not a crazy thing. Like, you guys are stupid if you think Donald Trump is the only man.
Playboy millionaire.
Right.
In his 20s and 30s.
Right.
Like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You guys all love Hugh Hefner.
These boys making $40K a year
hate Donald
act that
Trump.
way.
It makes no sense.
No.
Yeah. No. So, well, I mean, that's why he always had the model wives and everything, you know? I mean, because that's his lifestyle.
If that's how he wants to do it, that's how he wants to do his life.
Yeah. Right.
Is that somebody I want to go out with and marry? No.
But that's the thing. Look at the people that are questioning his character.
Right.
Look at the people that are questioning his character. Those people don't have any moral compass whatsoever. None. Look at all the blasphemous bullshit they push on a daily basis.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah, let's get into some shit.
It's hilarious. So, I guess, I don't know, in 2024, it comes down to Ron and Donald. Who are you fighting for? Who are you putting your ballot in for?
Me? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'll be voting for Trump a third time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told you who I voted for every presidential election before Trump.
Yeah.
Right? Myself. Yeah. I kind of figured out. Well, my first one I voted for Bush because Bush was running for re-election. I grew up in Texas and I didn't know shit. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew nothing about politics. I just grew up in a Republican state and I knew this guy was the governor and this. Right. I love Texas, so I'm like, hey, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I started looking into it, it was like when Obama kind of came to be around that time frame. Well, it was a little bit before Obama. Bush was still president. It was loose change, right? Saw that in 2005. Kind of had my little awakening moment, and then ever since then, I'm like, well, I'm the best candidate. You know what I mean? I mean, they're all corrupt, so I'm just gonna vote for myself every year. When Obama ran for re-election, I had 12 or 13 other people vote for me for president. Yeah.
You're literally out here campaigning against Barack Obama.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Every party I went to, every bar I was at, I would talk politics with everyone. Everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that if it comes down to Donald and Ron, but we don't even know yet because Ron DeSantis is not.
My whole thing with Trump
announced.
And this is what it boils down to. You can take away the social aspect, take away his lifestyle, whatever things he's done in the past, all those things. The main reason I voted for him in the first place, because when he was running, out of all those guys, I mean, Ted Cruz was saying some good stuff, and I like him on the Senate. I like when he grills people that are doing illegal things, you know.
He's such a puss, though. He never does anything.
I know, but out of everyone that was running other than Trump, like Ted Cruz looked like the pick. He looked like the pick, though. And he would have lost against Hillary for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Fucking
sidebar though, I actually think if they didn't steal the nominee from Bernie and give it to Hillary, I think Bernie probably would have won.
Yeah.
I really do. And I don't want him to win.
Shit for Bernie.
But it's because all these stupid college kids. Yeah. And he was just saying socialist this, socialist this, socialist this. And they're like, yeah, free socialism.
Things. Okay, yay.
Yeah. Free stuff. Yeah, why is it free? Because you take home no money.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumbass.
Everybody just thinks that like money appears and, you know, it's there one day and then the money all comes from.
Well, I mean, technically. I mean, they do just kind of print it out of nowhere.
Yes.
Now they do.
Yes.
That's another topic. But back to Trump.
We have to pay for everything, yes.
But back to Trump. The main reason that drew me to him in the very first place was I've been awake, whatever you want to call it, since 2005. He was saying a lot of the same crap that I was saying about our government. Mm-hmm. Like, if you actually watch his speeches and watch his rallies and stuff that he did, the things he was saying about the government are things I've been saying for a decade, and everyone called me a crazy conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
right? Like I said, long and lonely road, man. People are just now waking up, man.
Yeah.
People are just now waking up. So those are the things. I don't care about the social aspect. I don't care if he's an asshole, a dick, or whatever.
No.
I do not care. As long as he's doing what I think needs to be done with the government.
Right.
And what needs to be done with our government is they need to be
total fucking overhaul.
Overhauled.
100%. Get them all out.
And term limits, which he said that's one of the first things he's going to sign in is term limits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No more than 2 terms. They have to, because it just becomes way too corrupt, and too many people become in too many other people's pockets. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, you got Mitch McConnell and Pelosi and all these other people Schumer that have been in politics for 60 years.
Yeah.
They've been in politics longer than most people have been alive.
Right.
That's absolutely insane. How can you still say that you are in touch with the people?
Exactly.
If you've been in that same position for so long.
You're not. They look at the world so differently than we do. We just saw this TikTok about the TikTok congressional hearings and how these old farts are just up there having no concept of what modern day social media is. Right. Not understanding basic, Wi-Fi. Right. It's exaggerated, but it's true.
If I have TikTok, do I have the internet?
Right. Is it Wi-Fi? Is TikTok my Wi-Fi? Like I said, exaggerated. Yeah. But at the same time, not that far off, because in the real world, they don't know. Right. They don't know.
Yeah, they're completely detached from society.
They are. And they've spent so long colluding with people and trading money under the table and insider trading and doing all these things that they're just so evil at their core.
Okay, so like Bernie Sanders, right?
Yeah.
He's all about the people and socialism and blah, 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 and Donald Trump bad. Blah, 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 blah. It reminds me of like those old Muppets that sit in like the little balcony.
Oh, the 2 old ones, the 2 old men. Yeah.
But anyway,
it's like him and Biden.
This dude owns like 3 or 4 houses. Mm-hmm. He has never had a job, like an actual job in his life. He's never worked anything that wasn't politics. Mm-hmm. What the hell does he know about anything?
What does he know what it's like to live in America? Day in and day out.
Nothing.
Barely making it. Nothing. Paycheck to paycheck.
Nothing. I will give him this, though. He was walking in the civil rights movements and stuff. I'll give him that much. Yeah. But he was profiting off of it as well.
Of course. And even the people, when they are young and they start politics, it's because they come from like a well-to-do family or an influential family. Right. So they've got money, they have previous power. They kind of like get inherited into these roles, and they can win elections because they can campaign with money and they're the people they know. And so it's like funny as hell to me. I mean, Republicans do it too, but like Democrats especially being so for the people when all of them are like privileged times 10,000. Yeah. For any underprivileged person to look at the Democratic Party and say, wow, I really, I can really relate to what they're saying. Like, you are so blinded. They have nothing in common with you.
And they go in their Ferrari, park in front of a major corporation, and protest against the unfairness of capitalism. Yeah. Yeah. And record it on their iPhone and live stream it.
Right. It's so...
While drinking their Starbucks.
It's so anti-capitalistic.
And all their designer clothes made in China. Right. In sweatshops.
Right. You guys, everybody's a fucking liar. Everybody's a liar. Oh my God. Well, and then I just heard, I guess, both Pfizer and Pelosi are investing really heavily in this new cancer organization called like Onyx. I'd have to look it up. Yeah. But I just saw this and how like stocks right now are like $2 a share and they're projected to be like 18 very soon. And like that Nancy, this is her new investment. And then that Pfizer's investing heavily in it. I'm like, what's this new push for cancer going to be?
Give everyone cancer.
Well, what just happened all over the country with all these hazardous materials? Think about that. All of a sudden, we're investing all this money into this new cancer treatment company.
My voice cracked on that.
Yeah, good job. Right after a couple months worth of like hazardous issues.
Yeah. Well, just like we just saw that clip, 135-page document explaining how the U.S. government owns basically all the vaccines they're pushing. Yeah. Yeah. Right. They have patents on all of them. Right. Yeah. Back to 2015. Yeah. Because this coronavirus, this COVID-19, was actually a Frankenstein COVID virus, coronavirus, that they developed in 2015. Yeah. So then they created all these vaccines. So this has been planned since 2015.
I'm going to put on my little tinfoil hat here for a minute and just say that I think there's going to be some like cancer epidemic coming.
Yeah, maybe.
That's going to be like all of a sudden numbers are out of control more than it's ever been. And
it's probably all the shit they're spraying too.
Well, I mean, they keep talking about a second pandemic.
Yeah, they keep saying a second pandemic.
Right, and preparing. And now that I'm seeing Pfizer, because they had their balls deep in COVID, seeing that they're investing in these new cancer programs. I don't know. That's my tinfoil hat conspiracy look ahead into the future thing. If I'm right, everybody owes me $500. But I'm just saying that's where I see things going right now. I hope I'm wrong.
Patreon. Huh? I said we'll set up a Patreon.
All of you watching right now, you're betting against me $500 if I win. I will be collecting. Yeah. So going back,
but it's all connected. Once again, it's all connected. And like we've talked about multiple times, what they're doing is depopulating. Yeah. The Georgia Guidestones that were blown up, what was it, a year ago now, something like that, somewhere around then. But it said on the Georgia Guidestones to depopulate the world or the planet to 500 million by 2025.
Can you explain what those Georgia Guidestones are?
So nobody knows who built them. That's the thing.
And what are they?
It's in Georgia, and they kind of look like...
It's like Stonehenge, kind of?
Yeah, what's the one where they're stacked on top of each other, making like teas and like tables and stuff?
That's not Stonehenge.
Is that Stonehenge?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, Easter Island's the heads.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So Stonehenge. Yeah. So it looks like Stonehenge, but they were built in it's either the 70s or 80s. I don't remember. I could be way off 19? On that. Yeah. But someone built these in Georgia, outside of Atlanta. And it basically had these guidestones on how to save the world. Oh. And it was written in all the major languages of the world. Each stone had a different language written on it, but it was the same thing. But it did say to maintain the population of the planet to 500 million by the year 2025.
I do remember this. Okay, so it was from the 1980. From 1980 to 2022 in Elbert County, Georgia. Yeah. They were 19 feet and 13 inches tall.
Yeah, no one knew who built them.
And they just, what was it, like lightning or something apparently struck them? What was it?
No, someone placed a bomb.
Really?
Yeah, it shows someone running up, placing a bomb and running off.
Jeez.
And blowing it up.
And so, what did they say? Sorry, go back and explain that whole thing.
So, I don't remember the exact quote or the exact text, but it did say by the year 2025 to have the population of the world at 500 million. Yeah, I think we're at like 8 billion people.
Yeah, let's see. U.S. population, 331.9 million.
No, 500 million worldwide.
Oh, worldwide. Oh, yeah. God.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're at like 8 billion people.
Yeah. Let's see.
And they want to depopulate the planet to 500 million.
7.888 billion. Yeah. That was of 2021. Why did none of the stats go to like 2022? Right. We are almost 4 months.
Right. If you look up the census for most of the states,
is it like 2020?
It's 2020.
Yeah.
Is when it stops.
Yeah.
We're in 2023.
Well, because I wonder if they don't actually want us to know the number of people who died from COVID either. Like, I wonder if those numbers are so exaggerated that they're afraid that a census would really show how many people are left and that it would all be a fucking lie.
That could be it, too.
You know?
Also, maybe not to let you know how many people are moving from state to state and everything else, too.
Right.
Because, like, California, man, people are leaving California in droves.
Absolutely.
And us in Arizona, we definitely feel that because they're coming here more than anywhere else.
Yeah.
What was it, a couple of years ago? At the peak of everything, they said something like 200 or 370 something people were moving here from California a day.
Wow.
In like 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
My hope is that this summer scares all of them to go back to the fucking liberal hellholes they came from, or just move on somewhere else, because these summers are fucking cruel. And so it'll be interesting.
120 degrees.
Quite literally.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's living in an oven.
Yeah.
Living in an oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try riding a motorcycle in it.
Yeah. Or being in a hairdryer. That's another good explanation.
Yeah, it's like a blow dryer in your face while you're riding.
Right. You walk outside and you're just like, fuck. It's bad. It's bad.
And when it's windy, it's worse.
Oh, yeah. It's literally being in a hairdryer.
It's just hot air.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. So
Go back home to your failed state.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and stop voting for the shit you ran away from, assholes.
Right. And that's also, I think, very relevant in Florida, where Mr. Ron DeSantis is. Right. So we wanted to talk about, obviously, this whole thing between Trump and DeSantis in terms of who's running in 2024, who would win, why do they hate each other, what's going on. But at the same, like, as much as we think we know about DeSantis, I don't think we know what's really 100% going on in Florida, because we don't live there, right? We can only see the headlines. We can only listen to what other people have to say. But like, I have seen so much conflicting information, especially on social media, like the certain accounts I follow. I don't really know what to believe with DeSantis right now.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You know?
My first thing when I started questioning him, like I said, I was all on board. I'm like, yeah, this guy's great. He gets it.
I was like, I wore it on the show.
The way I always described him for the last couple of years, especially when Trump was still in office too. Yeah. But he's a more polished Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Like he speaks Absolutely. The political lingo and all this other stuff, mm-hmm. and all the things that he was doing with COVID and all this, like it was great. Mm-hmm. But now, and especially with all the people that back him, are all the people I don't trust.
They're rhinos.
They're all rhinos. So that was the first thing that made me start questioning his legitimacy with everything.
So then me trying to play devil's advocate to that argument is, what if the rhinos back DeSantis over Trump because he's like the lesser of the two evils, because Trump is out for those people's heads? You know, if McCarthy is in fact somebody who Trump decides he doesn't like and he can get rid of him, he will.
But that's the problem, though. That's basically what DeSantis is running off of. If he is MAGA. Mm-hmm. So MAGA wants to uproot the swamp. They want to drain the swamp. Yeah. So but then I think if he really is MAGA, then he would have the same motives as Trump. Right.
Okay, we have returned from our snack break and want to talk. You got to stop in the middle of these things and take a little break for a minute. Yeah. But we, like I said, I think we're a little more off the fence than we were before about DeSantis and Trump, or where we stand with DeSantis. But at the same time, and I know Tavis is too, we're very curious to hear any thoughts that you guys have on the matter. If you know things that we don't, we do have a new friend in Florida that we would love to talk about this with further. But I would love to hear from more people. If you have other versions of DeSantis that you know that we don't, mm-hmm. we're very open to all these different thoughts about him. We would like to be educated more. So go ahead and comment along our videos or send us messages, whatever. We would love to know your thoughts on DeSantis. Some things that I just kind of wrote down that keep us on the fence about him or make us think badly about him. We did just read this article about how his backers are saying that he's not ready to mm-hmm. run in 2024. Right. And that, I guess they're afraid of what the polls have been saying. Was that kind of the...
Well, yeah, Trump is killing him in the polls.
Yeah. I don't think he's done enough to really thrust himself out and make himself known with like the masses.
Well, and Trump he's doing his so what that article was basically saying is Trump's facing an indictment and DeSantis is traveling the country on his book tour, and Trump's poll numbers are going up and DeSantis numbers are going down. Mm-hmm. So if Trump's facing an indictment and his numbers are going up and DeSantis is traveling the country. Yeah. and his numbers are going down, then obviously it's not a good look. But also because Trump keeps poking the bear with DeSantis, right? Calling him out on things and all this other stuff. Because I'm sure Trump looks at DeSantis as his main competition for GOP. I mean, like, really, who would the other who, the only one that I like the message is that whatever he is, Middle Eastern guy in Texas.
Much we care.
But I like his message. Problem is you're running against Trump, man. And your message is the exact same thing that got Trump elected in the first place.
Right.
So, but I think, and this is what I was telling you too, is I feel like if DeSantis was really MAGA, he would never consider even running against Trump in the first place. Instead, he would be on the ticket as VP, be his VP for 4 years, and then run as president afterwards.
Yeah.
Because then you're almost guaranteed 8 years at that point because you ran with Trump.
Right.
And look, none of us liked Pence. We never liked Pence.
No.
Not from the beginning, not from the end. We never liked Pence. But Pence just stayed out of the way.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Where DeSantis had a following, right? I mean, not even in Florida, outside of Florida.
Yeah.
He had a following like us. We saw the headlines, like, man, this guy's great. We like what he's doing with his bills against, the whole trans shit for schools and all that stuff. Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, man, that's great. I wish he was our governor.
And he handled things brilliantly.
Ours works with the cartel instead.
Yeah. So. He works brilliantly in Florida all throughout the pandemic. He actually said, wow, the issue is with older people. We are in Florida, so let's, population of old people is really high in Florida. They don't freeze to death there.
Yeah, Florida and here.
Yeah, lots of old people. And so he took such a lax approach to the whole thing, and so I think that was super admirable. And like you said, he's put out bills and whatnot to cut back on CRT, critical race theory in schools, and the Don't Say Gay bill, which wasn't
never
said
Don't Say
Gay
bill in there anywhere. Yeah.
And then recently he even said that he was pulling a liquor license from a hotel bar where they were putting on a drag show where underage kids were showing up. But then again, I saw that about the liquor license being pulled, but then I see Wake Up with Linda. She's an Instagram account I follow who's Republican. She lives in Florida, and she went to the bar, and the bar was still serving liquor after this bill had apparently been passed. But then somebody in the comments was like, actually, it takes 30 to 90 days for that bill to go into effect, so they would still be able to, serve liquor at this point. And so when it comes to things like that, I'm just confused about like what he's actually doing. I don't know quite what to believe at this point. I've been seeing a lot more posts surfacing about the fact that well into 2021, he was still out in public wearing masks. He was still out pushing the vaccine.
Yeah.
Because there is that part of him that's a Republican that was pushing the vaccine, but so was Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump.
So can we even fault them at all on the whole COVID front when both of them were doing?
No, but he flipped the script, and now he's in support of us supporting Ukraine.
DeSantis.
Yeah.
What happened there? I don't get that. Did he say something?
So he originally was against it, but then he got a talking to basically from some higher up GOPs, and he changed his tune on it.
Has he come out publicly and said something in favor of Ukraine?
I think more. I didn't read the whole article.
I
just read the headline.
It's okay. I hate when people try to fault us and be like, "Where do you get your information from?"
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Because it was in that article that I was reading earlier.
Okay.
But basically, they were saying that they just don't think he's ready to run yet. And that, like I was saying, if he truly is MAGA, then he would wait until next year. Or not next year, but next election. He would wait till 2028 to run.
Okay, so it says Florida. This is from AP News. Ron DeSantis is walking back his characterization of Russia's war in Ukraine as a quote-unquote territorial dispute, following criticism from a number of fellow Republicans who expressed concern about the potential 2024 presidential candidate's dismissive description of the conflict. And there's a freaking ad. Please go away. In excerpts of an interview with Piers Morgan set to air Thursday on Fox Nation, DeSantis said his earlier comments referenced ongoing fighting in the eastern Donbass region, as well as Russia's 2014 seizure of Crimea. Ukraine's borders are internationally recognized, including by the United Nations. Okay, so he says, quote unquote, this is what, sorry, wow, I don't know how to read. Quote unquote, what I'm referring to is where the fighting is going on now, which is that eastern border region, Donbass, and then Crimea. And you have a situation where Russia has had that. I don't think legitimately, but they had. There's a lot of ethnic Russians there, so that's some difficult fighting, and that's what I was referring to. So it wasn't that I thought Russia had a right to that. And so if I should have made that more clear, I could have done it. It says DeSantis made his initial comments last week in a written response to questions sent to declared and potential GOP presidential candidates by Fox News host Tucker Carlson. The Florida governor, seen as a top rival to former President Donald Trump, said that defending Ukraine wasn't a national security priority for the U.S., and he downplayed the Russia invasion. So that's what he walked back on, was that it wasn't a priority. Interesting. I don't like that.
So
That's my first reaction. I don't like that.
My thought is maybe he was a good guy. You know what I mean? Maybe he did get into the governor role with pure intentions and everything else, but he was in DC before.
But I've listened to him do so many interviews. Like, I know so much about his past, and like, he seems like a truly like down to earth dude who came from what could have been a very liberal start in his career, and like he fought back against that.
But then why the recent flip?
Well, so I think you just saying that spurred me to think about, what if somebody had come to him within the Republican Party, you know, these rhinos, whoever has come to him and said, you have no chance at winning. You're not going to do anything if you just live out this, you know, your term limit right now. You know, you have to let us help you get into this role of president. We'll do that for you, but you have to do X, Y, and Z.
Well, it's either...
He's afraid he's going to like disappear into the ether if he doesn't run for president this next term.
I think he's been flipped.
Yeah.
I think he's a rhino now.
Yeah. Well, because he has his governor title for until 2026. Mm-hmm. So then after that, the next election would be in 28,
which would be him just basically going straight into campaigning.
Right. Is there a thought, though, that there would be too much time between the end of that term with the election, and that maybe he's going to lose steam by then? Like, he's already losing steam. People are paying less and less attention to him right now than they have in a while.
He's losing steam right now in the presidential sense. He still makes headline news for being governor all the time. But to
everybody, because I feel like I see a lot less on DeSantis, and I watch a lot of more right-wing
Most of my headlines with DeSantis recently have been Trump talking about DeSantis.
Right. So. And like when DeSantis was a really big talking point, it was in the middle of COVID, when he was doing things that were so against what, you know, either side wanted. Like he was doing his own thing. I think he's trying to make that magic happen again. He's trying to get back to that place of like people knowing who Ron DeSantis is, but he's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think he's ready for it.
I don't either.
Either way.
No.
I don't think that he is. First of all, he's got no chance against Trump. Nobody does. Nobody on the Republican side has a chance against Trump. Mm-hmm. I heard Jeb Bush is going to try to run again.
Nikki Haley.
Why? Because she had like 5 seconds of fame.
I don't know.
Standing up to Biden.
I've seen her being a big hat in the ring.
Yeah, they're all rhinos. Other than like that 10 Republicans on the Senate.
Yeah.
Or however many they are and stuff. But you can tell who the real ones are.
Yeah.
And you can tell the ones that are just part of the game.
Right.
So they're all part of the game. Trump is our one and only answer.
I think so. I think he's the only one who knows how to step in right now at such a fragile time and actually change things to produce the results that we need.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one because he's done the job.
Well, okay. So let me give a message to the people that hate Donald Trump.
Please do.
And I'll be polite. I'll be nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you absolutely despise Donald Trump, just know this. The other options are far worse than anything you will ever face with Donald Trump. Yes, he's not polished. Yes, he says some crude things. Yes, he can be a little misogynistic at times or degrading to people because the special needs or whatever the case may be. But he's the enemy of our enemy. Our enemy absolutely despises us. Our enemy is the deep state. You can call it whatever you want. Illuminati, all that stuff. It's the people that control the government. Our bankers, the people that control the bankers that we don't know anything about. Yeah. Those are the people, right? These people absolutely despise us. They want to enslave us. They want to... I mean, why do you think we have social security numbers? It's a barcode, right? It's how that's how I scan us. It's our ID. I actually
just listened to that the other day. Why birth certificates are a thing.
Yeah.
It's a tracking system.
Uh-huh. It's a tracking system, yeah.
They have record of every single person born in this country.
Correct. Yeah.
And you can't do anything without that.
Because we're a product.
Yeah. You have to. And then you have to have that one piece of paper, that one stamp of approval in order to work, to make money, to have any kind of life.
Go to school.
Yep. You have to be registered.
Yep. Yep.
Like a fucking animal.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we're a product. Mm-hmm. The United States is a company. It's not a country. It's a corporation. And we are the product that makes money.
And Donald Trump is the only one that respects the product enough to know that if we're not thriving, the country's not thriving.
Yeah.
Because again, if we are the product, we are the people running this country with the sweat, blood and tears that we have. You have to treat us all right. Like, when times are so bad that groceries and gas and everything is so expensive, cost of living is out of control, your job is that much worse.
Right.
Because you're working your ass off for less. Right. And so then the country starts to suffer. And like, even if Donald Trump is somebody who has this, vicious need for power, and even that's why, if that's his whole reason for being president, he at least still understands that we are the ones essentially running everything with our money and our time. And that if we're not happy, if we're not doing well, everything's going to suffer. Right. And that's where we are right now.
Right.
So if nothing else, he at least respects you enough to try to make your life a little better so that you don't hate waking up every day. You don't hate having to go to work.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, it's to him, it's all a business thing.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, and way before Trump even considered running all this stuff, I've been saying for years we need a business person to run for president. Because
it is a business. It is.
The country is a business.
Yeah.
You have to run it like a business. These lawyers don't know shit about running a business.
No.
They've never even had a regular job.
They're liars.
Like, that's what
thieves.
I mean. They don't know anything about any of it.
Yeah.
Trump is a businessman. Mm-hmm. And so I think looking at it, even if it's 100% for selfish reasons to say, look, I'm the greatest president of all time. Look what I did with the country.
If your life is better, who the fuck cares? Who cares? If we can
I'll take that any day.
Yeah, if we can go on vacation and we can afford to redecorate our house and do these things comfortably.
Well, and like I was telling you, like,
start a business.
I make the most money I've ever made in my entire life.
Me too.
And it's still a struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's insane.
I mean, collectively, we bring home what, like 3 times the national average?
A decent amount, yeah. well, just a decent amount.
We bring home more than enough.
I think the national average is like 50.
Yeah.
Something like that, household income.
So it's just gross, honestly. And I'm so sick of people not realizing it. Like, this is affecting your life now. Have a fucking opinion.
Right.
Vote in a way that actually pushes you to your goals. I don't want to be poor.
Right.
Struggling paycheck. I mean, we're not struggling, but still, like, feeling paycheck to paycheck, or that I can't save enough for.
I want more breathing room.
Yes, breathing room. I want to be able to put away $1,000 a month into my savings account.
3 years ago, I made way less money, and I had tons of breathing room.
Yeah. I want to pay off credit cards. There's so many things, we want to start a business. We want to start produce in our backyard, a whole garden. All these things take money. And right now we are spending so much extra money on the littlest of things.
And
food,
working more.
Gas, everything.
working more hours just to keep up with it.
And it's exhausting. So to Tavis's point, Donald Trump is the least evil of all of the candidates.
By far.
And we've seen him in office.
His intentions for the country are pure as we know them.
Right. But you can at least look at his track record. He has been president before. And like, to anybody out here being like, he's a monster, he's, homophobic, he's this and that, he hates women.
How many were like, he's going to put gays in concentration camps, like when he got elected? Like, none of the doomsday shit they said was going to happen when Trump got elected happened. Not a single ounce of it.
And that's what I'm saying. If those are your fears, get the fuck over it. If he wanted to do that, he would have done it.
Syndrome.
He was president for 4 fucking years.
Trump derangement syndrome.
I know. Well, I went to a very liberal college during that election.
Yeah.
And the day...
Safe spaces and all.
Oh, you have no idea. I was an English
I do,
because
I went up there multiple times.
Oh, yeah. And I'm in English classes where people are very, very liberal. And that first day that he got elected, we had like a safe space group talk. And everybody in the class was like, I'm queer and I felt like I was going to get killed walking to school this morning. And I was sitting there like, are you kidding me?
What?
But I couldn't say a word either.
But that's the indoctrination.
Exactly.
Why would she feel that way? I assume it's she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would she feel that way?
Or cat. I don't know.
Well,
then my teacher is sitting there going, oh, I totally understand that. He's such a monster.
Hey,
horrible.
Oh, of course. Because it's a liberal school, liberal teachers. Do you know who else uses they, them pronouns?
Who?
Demons.
Of course. Of course they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're creatures.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They, them.
Soulless.
Oh, yeah.
So then, speaking of soulless demons, who do you think is going to run on the Democrat ticket besides Biden?
He doesn't Pelosi would love it. No, I'm just kidding. She's worse than Biden.
Yeah.
Remember that clip of her where she was speaking and then she paused and then she goes, "Good morning, Sunday morning."
Yeah.
Like she completely forgot they were already having the conversation.
I know. Yeah. She's drunk at 9 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever time. Because those morning shows go on. They record really fucking early. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. So we've been thinking, okay, so obviously Biden's running. I don't know how.
I don't think... Look, so he keeps saying that he's going to run, which is why I think it's the only reason the DNC hasn't pulled him yet. Mm-hmm. They haven't. The Democratic Party hasn't pulled him. Well, first of all, Kamala has a lower approval rating.
That lady is batshit crazy. When they asked her on the interview, it wasn't Seth Meyers. It was somebody.
One of the talk shows.
And he's like, what's the job of the president or the vice president on a day-to-day basis? She's like, well, I'm led by our great leader, Joe Biden. He's just such a president and such a partner.
And we talk about the things we need to do. And we get the time to do the things that we need to talk about.
And making change, because this is a country about change and people and things. And the host goes, great. Now, what was the answer to the question? Like, this lady has no fucking clue what she does. Her job is not a job. Yeah. It isn't. It isn't.
No, it's a publicity thing.
Yes.
That's all
totally. She's just there to fucking kiss.
To be a woman of color as the vice president.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason why they picked her in the first place.
Right.
Because she ran for president against Joe and everyone else. And she was one of the first ones to get knocked out because no one liked her. Well, what's her name? What's her name that left the Democratic Party?
Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, she wiped the floor with Kamala.
Well, because Kamala comes out and she talks about being like, super pro marijuana, super against locking people up for marijuana. But
she's locked up tens of thousands of people.
Yes, look at her fucking records as DA, and was it San Francisco?
California.
So
it was San Francisco and then it was California.
Okay, yeah. She's, oh my God.
How she got the San Francisco one, though, was sleeping with the mayor of San Francisco.
Yep.
Yeah. Joe in the hoe.
What about
Well, Newsom. Look, if I was the Democratic Party, I would tap Newsom. Mm-hmm. As far as camera presence, screen presence, the guy looks polished as hell. Yeah. He looks like he probably sits in a tanning bed twice a day, and you know, he has someone massage his muscles with warm milk or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, he looks pampered as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, evil businessman pampered.
You call him American Psycho.
Yeah, he looks like American Psycho.
Yeah, but, like,
Christian
more
Bale.
evil.
Yeah, more evil.
He is such a horrible person.
Yeah.
Such a horrible person. And he's
He's such a piece of
pro kids. Well, he was kind of leading the charge on the whole sanctuary state for trans kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
California's a sanctuary state.
Yeah. Or like during COVID.
So your child can run away to California and go get a sex change, no matter their age.
Without your permission.
Without your permission.
Yep. And then
also pedophilia. Maps. They've allowed maps.
Of course they have.
We'll say maps, so TikTok will allow it. Maps, but when we say maps, you all know pedo. Yep. Pedo.
Minor attracted people, persons? What's the official? I don't know.
Minor attracted person.
Persons. Yeah. People's persons. Yeah. And then during COVID, of course, California was under like the most strict lockdown.
Right.
You couldn't.
And they recalled him and everything.
Yeah.
And he went again? No fucking way.
He was locking everybody else down, but then he was being seen out at restaurants galore, out at
big
wineries.
Parties.
No mask, no nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because it's a hoax.
I know.
Because it's a hoax.
My family we have friends in California who suck his dick. And I'm like, you are so fucking blind to think that he is doing anything good for that state. I don't understand the logic at all.
Look how many people still vote for Biden if he was running again.
I know.
Like that is absolutely, look, if you still to this point with World War III, inflation, the economy crashing, we are going towards a Great Depression, not a recession, a depression. We are going to hit a depression. If you still support this child-sniffing pedophile with his pedophile son who smokes crack and steals money and launders money from all over the country, if you still support that to this day, then you have severe brain damage and you really need a lobotomy. I offer my services. I'll put a 1-800 number at the bottom. You can give us a call and I'll come on over.
I mean, they have to be like...
I use a 9-iron.
Yeah. I really don't get it. I don't know. Do you think Bernie would run again? I think his time has well passed. Like, nobody's on board with free college anymore. I think it
already passed in 2020.
I do too.
I think it already passed in 2020. Yeah. I think he lost all of his steam.
Yeah.
But in 2016, I really do believe that he probably would have had a shot at beating Trump.
Well, back in 2016, we weren't in like dire situations where we actually could think about, or, you know, ideology. I don't know what the fucking word is for
Ideology?
No, we could envision even like what free college would look like or free healthcare. Yeah. That was on the table because we weren't facing impending doom of World War III, of a depression, of all of these other things. Right. You know what I mean? So talking about that then, while even though I think it's crazy, we could actually, he could convince liberals that it would happen because the rest of the country was doing decently.
Right.
You know, but now it's like there are so many other things that have to be figured out before you could ever even put that kind of shit on the table.
Biden still hasn't been to Ohio.
Biden still hasn't been to Ohio. Nope.
But he went to Canada. Say he's going to stay.
Please stay.
No. That means Kamala's president now.
Yeah, that's not better, is it?
That's way worse.
I know.
At least Joe has handlers.
Yeah.
And diaper changers or whatever else he's got.
I don't know what the distraction is that they're putting out there this week, but did you see that Putin and the China leader, I don't know what his name is.
I know it, I just can't pronounce it.
Yeah, they met and were like, there's big things coming, more than you guys would ever know. Did you see that?
No, but I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
They're not talking about that right now.
I told you.
And then Biden comes out
I've been talking about them for years now.
I know, but they were meeting this week and they had all these discussions about how big things are coming. Nobody's talked about that. And then Biden, biffs his words and says that he really thinks that China is doing a great job. Oh, Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah.
Giving a speech to Canadians.
Everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, meanwhile, in China, he and Putin are like making out.
First of all, I feel bad for Canadians because they're stuck in the exact same situation as us. The difference is Trudeau, I think, is worse because he's actually cognitive and he has his own agendas and things he wants to do. It runs in his blood, Fidel Castro.
He is Fidel Castro's son, so he's inherently evil.
Right.
Yeah. And they can't.
It's almost like he was
guns.
born and he's like, you know what? I don't like the tropical life. I'm going somewhere cold.
Yeah. They needed a devil in the north and the south.
Yeah, right.
But the problem being Canadian is that you guys have no rights to protect yourself.
None.
At least here in America for now, like our guns are perfectly legal. And if the time comes that we need to use them against the government, we're fucking allowed to do so.
We got more than enough here.
More than enough. Need some. More than enough.
Yeah. What is it? There's enough guns in the country for every man, woman, and child to own like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But they don't want us to realize how powerful we are.
That's not military or government use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They don't want us to know that, though, because they don't want us to know how powerful we are.
Well, I mean, if you own a gun,
Well, yeah, but not everybody thinks that way,
Yeah. That's another thing for all you dumbass liberals. All right, hold on. Let me straighten up for this one.
Straighten out. Let's do this.
Okay.
Get straight.
So, you stupid bastards. All right.
Something's coming when it starts with that. I'm like, oh God, do we need to delete this later?
You want your rights stripped away from you constantly. It makes no sense. You want people to police speech because of quote unquote hate speech. No speech is hate speech. And I mean that. Mm-hmm. Because freedom of speech is absolute. Mm-hmm. Meaning anyone has a right to their opinion. Anyone has a right to speak whatever they say. No matter how asinine it may be. Someone has a right to say whatever the hell they want. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that is... You can't control what goes on in someone's mind.
No.
But that's what they try to do.
Yep.
And you dumb motherfuckers...
Are letting them.
Yep. And another thing, you're protesting taking away your only thing that is protecting you from complete and total tyranny. Mm-hmm. The government does not like you. They hate you. They think you are property. They think you are possessions. They control you. You are a cockroach to them. So the only thing that is keeping them at bay from actually acting on the things that they really want to do to you is your little pew-pews. That is it. Keep your guns, keep your ammo, keep your food, keep your water, and unplug from the bullshit because they're coming. They're fucking coming.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, I've been waiting. 10 years, a long road, man.
Well, and the other thing too is that the only way that we are able to connect with like-minded people who see this the way that we do, and to like bring about any time of so if shit really hits the fan and there needs to be an uprising, the only way we're going to coordinate ourselves at this point is through the internet, is through social media, is through our connections with each other.
That, so they can shut it all down.
Yes, and so they're trying to shut that down too, just in period, because with censorship, because it keeps us from strengthening our army, so to speak. Right. As we get further into doing this, we're starting to make connections with people on TikTok who believe the same we do, who think the same things, who talk about the same things. Like, they don't want that to happen because strength in numbers is terrifying. Right. And when the people who are against the government are the ones who hold firearms and who hold, the money and the power, that scares the shit out of them. Right. We're strong. And so trying to censor and trying to take those things away is because they're fucking terrified.
I do not like the fact that China owns TikTok.
Yeah.
Because we get censored so much.
Right.
And then our own government is constantly trying to take down TikTok because of the news that does get spread on there. The actual shit. Right. The actual footage of things. Yeah. And it's so easy to download too. I know. Like a video. It's so easy to download. But this is why, like we were talking that one time, Elon Musk already bought Twitter. Right. What does Twitter own?
Vine. He needs to bring back Vine, but just make it Twitter.
Bring back Vine.
Or sorry, make it TikTok.
And make it the new TikTok.
Literally take the fucking design.
Right.
And if you don't want to take the design, we know he has billions of designers who can make a very similar concept. Right. And boom, done. So that there isn't any, user
and
having
then it's
to
an
learn.
American-based one. And then for a fact you'll get free speech, at least for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be so fucking interested to see how our content does on a platform that doesn't get censored like TikTok does.
The problem is most of those platforms, people aren't on them.
No.
You know what I mean?
People aren't on Truth Social.
Or Rumble.
No.
Telegram much.
No, and they call it a user interface, UI or UX, user experience. Actually using the apps, using the website sucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys couldn't hire better designers to do this?
Yeah. So, well, I think that's also because we all got used to the YouTubes, the Twitters, the Instagrams, it's all kind of the same layouts,
yeah,
right?
but we're all continuously learning new social media apps if they're worth learning.
Constantly. That's true.
We're all very adaptable now.
That's true.
What about the thought, and I've heard this one a lot, what about Michelle Obama on the Democrat ticket?
So they've been talking about her since 2016, possibly running. And then it was obviously Hillary. And then in 2020, they were really trying to push for Michelle to run. I'll call Michelle. Michelle's a man, but I mean, legally the name is Michelle. So I'll call Michelle. Sure. I mean, there's men named Michelle too. You know? Michelle, it's like German or something.
French.
I don't know. Whatever. But, I think popularity wise, I think that would probably be their best bet.
I do too.
The problem is, what's the track record other than being married to Barack?
Right. She has a talk show now that I've seen clips of.
Is it called 9 Inches?
You would think. She has this talk show they're pushing really hard. They've pushed her books really hard. This last talk show was really interesting. I saw a clip of it. She talked about she hated Barack for 10 years. She said for 10 years of their marriage, she absolutely despised him. Wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Weird.
Yeah.
I was like, you just gonna talk about that on your talk show? Like, I get it. That's maybe relatable, but like, well, it's weird.
Unless it was an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
For political reasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just like the Clintons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the only reason Hillary married Bill.
Yeah.
She's full on dyke.
Oh, yeah.
Full on dyke.
Her and her assistant. What's her name?
Ebedine.
Yeah.
Uma Ebedine. Uma something.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thought. Michelle Obama on the ticket.
Yeah, I still think they'll probably tap Newsom.
Anyways, we do have a few more little news segments, headlines to run through here that were interesting that have happened recently. This week, here's the thing. Whenever people talk about the United States being anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-anything like that, I fucking laugh because I'm like, do you know what goes on in the rest of the world? Yeah. Uganda this week, their parliament has now passed a bill that makes it a crime to identify as LGBTQ. So,
gay in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Queer.
Yep.
In any way, shape, or form.
It's not just gay, it's all of it.
Good for them.
Oh, you can't. But again, you want to talk shit about how bad it is in America? Go to Uganda. Okay? Go to the Middle East where women can't drive cars, can't have jobs, can't dress themselves. They have zero rights, their property. Like, y'all are fucking nuts.
They also throw gay people off of buildings.
Yes.
For being gay.
Right.
Just saying.
And we've talked about it before, but I'm sorry. You queer people are not being censored anymore. No. If people hate you for being gay, fuck them. Oh my God.
So here's the biggest thing right now. The only issue that the majority has with the LGBT community is their flamboyantness. Because it's constantly in your face. And I don't mean like flamboyant, like how they're acting, but like they're pushing their shit constantly in a very flamboyant way. Well, if you don't like it, then you're homophobic. No, you just need to keep your lifestyle. Don't make it my lifestyle. Don't make it my child's lifestyle, right? Leave everyone else alone. Look, live and let live.
I just don't understand why people feel the need to talk about who they fuck.
That's basically what it boils down to.
I'm not sitting out here talking about having sex with men and being straight. Why?
Strictly dickly.
Why is that such a need? Why do you guys feel you need the acceptance of other people to tell you that it's okay to do it? Right. That's where it really comes down to it for me. I don't care who you love, but why do you make it everyone's business?
Right.
Why?
Right.
I don't
get
it.
Okay.
At all.
So, all right. So let's just say, you're out in public. So let's say you're amusement park, whatever. And you see, a guy walking and he's got a giant rainbow flag on, right? And all that stuff. Is it not the same thing for me to walk around wearing a shirt that says, I love pussy?
Or like, I love tits.
I'm just asking.
Boobs out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, right?
That would make you a misogynist.
Why?
Because that's their whole thing.
But he just said with the rainbow flag that he loves dick.
Yeah. Different standards, for sure.
No.
Gay people can get away with everything now.
No.
It's okay to be perversive.
Not with me.
No, but that's the backwards ass thinking. And when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You know what one of my favorite little pastimes to do is? Just argue with NPCs for like 5 minutes. Sometimes like if they have a little bit of substance, I'll go a little bit longer. But a lot of the times I'll just put something out there that'll make their brain explode. And then they're just like, oh yeah, trigger words. And I'm like, look at the previous thing. I said you were going to say this.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So
it's fun.
Yeah. And in the same vein, Netflix recently had a show out for kids featuring a non-binary bison.
Yeah.
What the fuck, first off. But it received a shit ton of backlash, unsurprisingly, and it got canceled. Mm-hmm. Netflix pulled it.
Those Obamas will never learn, man. They sit on the board.
All right, and the last thing that you haven't seen a video of this event yet, but basically this happened during the Women's National Invitation Tournament, which is Women's Basketball League. A player from the Memphis team named Jamira Schutz punched a player from Ohio's Bowling Green team, Elissa Brett, in the face after shaking hands at the end of their game. This black player punched a white girl in the face after this game, and there's been no talk about it at all.
But if you flip the races,
it would be everywhere. Everywhere. And this is on video.
Worse than George Floyd and Pearl Harbor combined.
Right. Right.
Stupid.
So, zero news coverage. And there's video of it. Like, watch this.
Memphis's Jamira Schutz appears to throw a punch at Bowling
You see that?
Green's. Memphis's Jamira Schutz appears to throw a punch at Bowling Green's Elissa Brett following the team's women's NIT matchup on Thursday night.
She knocked her to the ground.
Schutz was charged by Bowling Green University's campus police. A statement from Memphis's athletic department called the incident, quote, extremely unfortunate.
That handshake line is always this questionable thing where some people say it's horrible, your emotion.
No, they're trying to justify this. Listen.
I think it's the greatest thing in sports that after you fought it out on the court or on the field or whatever, you have to go against your opponent and have that moment.
There was an issue with, was it Juwan Howard like a year or two ago?
Yeah.
They're saying that it's a problem that sports would make people go up against their opponent after.
It's called being a fucking grown up. Nothing but bullshit.
Sore loser.
It's all bullshit.
Grow up.
First of all, patterns.
Yeah.
Patterns.
Yep.
Patterns.
Yep.
Almost every day I post a video of some black people beating up white people, and I just type patterns. That's it.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but racism is racism.
Yeah.
Say it again and again.
Yeah. The most racist people in the country are black.
Yeah.
Followed by Hispanics.
There's videos all the time.
And then Asians. But Asians really only hate other Asians. I mean, they do. Like,
weird,
if you're not the same Asian, they don't like you.
Yeah. It's so weird this time that we live in.
No. And then all of us white people are like, dude, we're not racist. We're just trying to chill.
Well, there's all these videos. I see people go to the streets and they talk to black people and like, so what is it like to be white? And they're like, oh, that fucking sucks, man. Being white is the worst. Oh my God. I couldn't imagine being white. You guys are just gross. You guys are the worst. Ew, white people. Imagine the tables are turned.
Yeah.
And
it's like that clip of that girl, right? And they're like, well, why wouldn't you date a white guy? And she's like dark as dark, right? She was like, well, I just, I don't have anything against white people. I want to keep my bloodline pure, and I just want to keep, stay pure in my bloodline. Imagine if a white guy was like, I don't date black chicks, but, it's all about keeping the bloodline pure, right? I want to keep that pure bloodline. Yeah.
Yep. Or that one black actress.
Absolute insanity.
I know.
And there's so many white people that are racist against themselves now.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, we have to repent for slavery. Why? Did you own slaves? Did you?
I have $5 million a person in San Francisco.
Yeah. Go look at slavery in the United States. Go look at all the different races that were slaves and not just the black people. And then go look who the very first slave owner was in the United States. A black man. Thank you very much for coming to my TED Talk. Bye.
Oh, insanity. But on that note, I think we'll wrap things up. We've talked a lot today.
And you know what's funny?
We had no idea what we were going to talk about.
We had no idea what we were going to talk about.
This morning we're like, okay, we have to record.
Okay.
But
well, we knew we wanted to talk about the Trump and DeSantis thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. Because nothing else that crazy has happened in the past few weeks. The Trump indictment thing, we did cover it, but it's also passed. It was just really funny. We didn't know what we were going to talk about, and here we are an hour and 30 minutes in. So thank y'all for listening and watching. Well,
you can see our clips.
Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll start uploading full episodes at some point.
Yeah, maybe. At some point here we will. Yeah.
Website.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. We appreciate you coming back. Hopefully you're coming back every week. If you're not, now's your chance. Please come and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. We're not desperate like that, but we would very much.
If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't.
Yeah. And if you do like it, hitting that subscribe button, adding it, saving us is a huge help. Obviously, interacting with anything on social media, all of that is good. We appreciate all of it. So, on that note, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever y'all are at, and we will see you.
Good evening,
soon.
and good night.
What is it?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
There we go. Would good evening and good night be the same thing?
I don't know. I think that's what he says in the Truman Show, right?
The Truman Show. Truman Show.
Good morning, and if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone.
We're all on the Truman Show. All right. Good night. Goodbye, guys. We'll see you next time.